Another interesting piece of news this week. The Rock bought the XFL. That came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Like, I didn't realize it was cool to buy a company that perennially lost money.
Well, what
I
I'm
mean, I mean,
hearing,
I mean, technically, it's not it's not the Rock himself. It's the Rock as part of a consortium with, I forget what the name of the media group is, and then they bought it for $15 million. Well, at least now Vince knows what it's like to sell a company short.
well, for what I heard, he's a co-owner. I still hear that Vince McMahon's involved. And the third part of that is it was supposed to go up for auction, and The Rock bought it like hours before it went for auction. So
That indicates to me that they weren't expecting that they weren't expecting many people to actually attempt to bid on it, or they were hearing that they weren't going to get a price they wanted.
that is a possibility. But
So, yeah.
as as stubborn as Vince McMahon is, I don't think he's ever going to let this XFL thing go. So maybe he called up The Rock and said, be part owner with me. We'll pick this up when we're able to again.
But do you really think Vince said, "Hey, Dwayne, I need you to buy the XFL for the time being"? Yeah, it's just 15 million. Yeah,
I mean, it's not
yeah,
like
yeah,
he doesn't have it laying around. He's the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
yeah. I mean, like and what's the purpose of it being sold off? Most likely to protect the intellectual property, which now makes more sense that Vince still believes in it and thus would only make somebody he trusts inherently a majority owner.
It's going to be interesting how this unfolds, and whether we'll get in another XFL revival in 2021 or 22 or 23. It's going to happen eventually, is what this is kind of alluding to. You know what I mean?
By that time, it'll be paper football.
Seems like that's the kind of football we're playing now. uh, kind of people wrestling next on the news. Talking Mania was last Saturday. I know you heard about this, right, Scooter?
What was it?
Talking Mania with Gallows and Anderson. They did a paid preview.
I had no idea.
Oh my god, really? Yeah,
Dude,
so
I've been I I have not been. I've been out of the state. I have not. It's I know.
okay,
And,
well,
and if you ask anybody, I guarantee you, if they say yes, they're lying.
I don't know. Kaliko usually watches garbage like this. um I didn't actually watch it, but what I heard was that there was a boneyard match between Gallows and Anderson as their alter ego Sex Ferguson, and don't remember what Anderson's name was. I don't have
Chad,
it.
Chad, Chad. Too bad.
Chad, too bad. Thank you very much. And
That they used the intellectual property from Southpaw Regional.
yeah, And it ended with Sex Ferguson getting buried in a Jason mask.
And
Whatever you want to do with that.
I thought it was Tex Ferguson. Or was it
No,
Sex
sex.
Ferguson? I don't fucking know anymore. Jesus.
Yeah. Interesting. The Young Bucks made an appearance. Brian Myers. I probably would pop. I would probably go out of my way to maybe check some highlights. um, Something you don't want highlights of. Marty Jannetty possibly killed a man when he was
God,
13 years old.
God! If things are like, if you thought Marty Jannetty had already hit rock bottom, guess what? He's hit rock bottom in that rock bottom.
He hit rock bottom and then 10 feet of crap.
Like, what the hell is going on with Marty Jannetty that he felt the need to make this information public, at least for a couple of minutes? But that was enough for somebody to catch it and tweet it to the police.
Yeah. I don't know. He's like the opposite Shawn Michaels. Like he did not. Well, Shawn Michaels got out of the drug addiction and that bad crew type thing. It seemed like Marty Jannetty dove deeper into it.
Yeah, but at the same time, Jannetty also found Jesus.
But then he didn't he renounce his religion afterwards?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell Marty Jannetty did. Marty Jannetty
Was that
just
pre sleeping with his daughter or after?
oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
it's that's
It's just this is what we're talking about in 2020. Yeah. A bit of good news, I suppose, whatever, however you see it. Taynara Conti signed with AEW, and Rachel Ellering it will be a part of the tag team tournament as well.
yes, and she will also. She's just been announced for the next edition of AEW Dark.
Um, we talked about this last week about is AEW just taking scraps from WWE at this point?
At this point, who? At this point, who isn't a scrap? That's it's both a fair and unfair assessment at the same time, because at this point, who hasn't worked for the WWE in some capacity? It's like, and especially at this point, you can't go around saying, "Oh, we're scouting all the independents."
True.
You literally can't, because right now, the talent pool consists of people that have been released from the top three.
Right.
Like, and yeah, and by the way, yes, I did in fact call 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I did call Zack Ryder, now known by his real name, Matt Cardona, to AEW.
Yeah, and Mitch has Mitch has been saying that since the day he got fired. Um, but that's a different, you know, that's a different situation with Matt Cardona. The only reason he's there is because he has a relationship with Cody, and
Yeah,
now they're just saying, oh no, it's just a 5 appearance deal. That's bullshit. He is
and
signed by AEW right now. He is not going
because
anywhere.
because he would have gone with he, he would have gone, to Impact. I honestly think he probably had a better chance of being world champion in Impact.
I disagree. I think we've seen all we could possibly see from Matt Cardona. I don't think that he brings anything new or interesting to the table that would give him that. Brian Myers, I don't think we've scratched the surface with that guy. And I think that it's a really good investment to see what he may do in Impact Wrestling if he could become a world champion. But Zack Ryder, I don't think so. What say you?
Well, I thought I just did. I mean, Matt Cardona in AEW, he, I mean, he's already been shoehorned into, Cody's latest, running buddy. So at this point, it's a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, but when they will have Cody get turned on by yet somebody else and make Cody the eternal babyface. The only way anything will surprise me is if Cody turns on him.
Right. This would be the cue for a Mitch Mayhem rant. um,
No. Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something? What was the question again?
um, you said that everybody is a WWE scrap. Going back to Conti and Ellering. And it is a fair assessment that it's not a fair assessment. Kenny Omega was WWE at one point. Jericho, Moxley. But I could also make the argument that those are three really big superstars that any company would be chomping at the bit to try and sign. But when you got, glorified enhancement talent like Conti and Eldering, then you're just trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You kind of understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah, like it's like they're trying to say, oh, they're going to try to prove that their loss, the WWE's loss, is their gain.
Right.
And that's why the WWE ain't signing anybody and won't be signing anybody. At this point, I'm probably going to say till at least 2022.
Well, that brings us to our next bit of news. WWE signs Anthony Green and Leo Ruff.
Yeah, that's right. Leon Ruff and Anthony Green from the now defunct Evolve.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now,
So,
okay, all right. This situation is the exception to the rule.
yeah, you do that backpedaling.
Only because the Evolve has been essentially in the WWE's, pocket. They've said, ever since they worked out the, whatever deal it was, they've essentially been, an undeclared WWE, development.
Right.
So, so.
I mean, you get the talent when you buy the company.
Yeah, of course. You get you buy the company, of course you're gonna get the talent. It wouldn't surprise me if when WWE acquired Evolve, if they rewrote their contracts, if they even had contracts, they probably made them sign contracts where they can option them to signed if they so desire, or they were released outright.
Well, Leo Russ, excuse me,
Leon
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 Ruff.
Ruff
they they
Ruff.
looked this.
The dog goes Ruff.
Yeah, Leon Ruff's been enhancement talent for quite a couple of months now for WWE.
Yep,
So
that is true.
he's
Yes.
already been there, but Anthony Green would be completely new to the environment.
So you would say he's quite green.
Yes, this is true.
Ha ha!
That joke of the night. Um, Going back to the AEW, this week on Dynamite, we had an appearance by Eric Bischoff.
Oh,
Kind of fun, but interesting to see
I,
what AEW's
yeah,
coming up with.
it was. I will say it was kind of like I wish it's what the WWE did. I wish it was what the WWE could have done with Bischoff and Jericho, with the resentment that Jericho has towards Eric Bischoff.
Right.
You know,
I'm assuming you saw the segment.
I I didn't I didn't watch it in full. I I saw bits and pieces and then went back over it. It was the Jericho and Bischoff. They got along. They Jericho and Bischoff, consummate professionals. No matter if they hate somebody, they'll still work with them.
Right.
And you know, I'm honestly not even sure if Jericho and Bischoff even still hate each other after all these years.
I
I
don't think
think
so. I think it's water under the bridge. But
yeah. Um, but even Stevie Wonder saw the fact that he was going to call it forward Cassidy.
yeah,
I mean, come on.
honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Orange Cassidy, but at the end, that whole segment was pretty garbage until Orange Cassidy got serious and actually called Jericho out on his shit. And this should have been like years down the line, not like six
And
months after your debut. But
you
I guess
know,
they're making
I think this would be one of those moments in pro wrestling where, what should we call it? Let's call it the Kofi effect.
Kofi.
The Kofi Kingston effect.
Okay.
Where if there was a crowd that Cassidy actually speaking like that for the first time and everything, and actually it probably would have been one of those moments that resulted in a huge surge in popularity on social media.
I think that if it was in an arena, it would have blew the roof off of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree because the one that's the one mystery about Orange Cassidy. That's the one thing that's intriguing about him is when is he going to talk and what is he going to have to say? And you don't want to blow that moment. And
Right.
while the you know, the segment was, garbage up until that point. You know, the, that essentially redeemed it.
Oh,
Maybe not.
absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, we
It was a
and now
bullshit segment that actually went somewhere.
and now we should start to see a different Orange Cassidy.
Right. And
Like he's supposed to have a a match with Jericho
yeah, next week.
next week. He's got to do more than just keep his hands in his pockets. And you know what? I'm gonna go for a bold prediction here. I'm gonna say we're gonna see Orange Cassidy in actual wrestling gear.
Ooh, interesting. That'll definitely be
Because
maybe something to say that he means business.
because let's face it, Chris Jericho has really no reason, at least until after that point, to take Orange Cassidy seriously as an opponent
Right.
and underestimating. And that I gotta say that's the one thing AEW really does good is making is making underdogs, credible and showing that they're underestimated but can defy those, you know, those, you know, expectations that they'll never amount to anything. It's one of the things I think AEW does really well. And Orange Cassidy probably, isn't taking this, opportunity for granted. He probably knows that this is probably going to be the highlight of his career. And if I was Orange Cassidy, I'd want to pull out everything I possibly could. I would want to be more than just what the fans see of me. I would want them to see that I can do more than just, do a plancha with my hands in my pocket. Ooh, I could be dangerous, but can I legit win a wrestling match without, with my hands out of my pockets? It's interesting, and it's a hook that would probably make me watch AEW over NXT this coming week.
Huh. Interesting. And that's actually a great segue into our next bit of news. AEW
Oh,
beat NXT this week in the ratings. They also beat Raw and SmackDown. What is this a feather in AEW's cap, or is it just the sad state WWE is in right now?
I think it's the sad state the world is in right now, not WWE. It's quite honestly, I think the ratings they mean everything and nothing at this point. So, at why try competing for ratings and just try to put on a good show? Who gives a crap if you're gonna lose losing the ratings at this point in time with the way the world is? Who really is gonna care? It's I mean, sponsors, are not lining up, at the bit and whatnot. It's like if either AEW or WWE just decided to just say screw the ratings, we probably see better overall programming from both companies.
Well, the thing about NXT, it doesn't seem like NXT, they go for that ratings boost. They go that extra mile to try and do anything. It seems like all they're trying to do is put on a good wrestling product. Obviously, Raw and SmackDown is absolutely not that way. But, to your point, NXT goes up against AEW. I think that they put on a good product that isn't trying to grab ratings, but somehow they're still losing in the ratings. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So, kind of in a way, yeah, you're right. Rating. Why are we talking about ratings in 2020? It seems, we get our TV time from the internet now. So, is it a really relevant thing to talk about?
I mean, yeah, I mean, eventually the entire rating system will be overhauled, and there'll be some sort of new system in place. The Nielsen, rating system will, be a dinosaur, and I can tell you that there is definitely something uh, being worked on that would group all all viewing methods into one lump rating system.
All right.
And but other than that, I don't know any more about that.